You are now listening to Dear Dope Chick, a weekly podcast created to inspire and energize women to live life on their own terms. I'm your host, Felicia, and here's today's dose of dope. Dear Dope Chick, welcome and welcome back. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for showing up. How you feeling today? Are you ready to take action today? Are you up for the challenge? For those of you who are new here, Dear Dope Chick is an action-based podcast. So that means that every single episode you are challenged to take one step, one small step, one big step, however you want to categorize that step, you're taking one of them that aligns with living life on your own terms. So that means you're taking a step that aligns with the lifestyle that you most desire. Do you have to take action today? You do not. You don't ever have to take action. That is the beauty of living life on your own terms. You get to decide how you want to do life, okay? Now, for those of you who are ready to take some action, for those of you who are ready to try something new, to do something new, should I say, not even trying, you're going to do something new. For those of you who are ready for different, this one is for you. I encourage you to continue to listen to this episode so that you can figure out what is the best course of action for you today. What does a random person's sex life, a random person's household income, and a random person's living situation all have in common? Whether it's random people that you know or random strangers, they all have something in common. Can you tell me what it is? Okay, so a random person's sex life, a random person's household income, and a random person's living situation all are none of your business. We're obsessed. Can we say we're obsessed as a society? We worry so much about what other people have going on. We have gossip websites, we have tabloids. We're obsessed with what celebrities do, what influencers are doing, what random strangers are doing. Even, when we're walking down the street, we're worried about whatever the people got going on. Save yourself the mental bandwidth and disengage from other people's show. Turn the channel and no longer subscribe to how people decide to live their own lives. Allow them the freedom to make choices they feel are best for their lives. I always start the podcast with saying, you don't have to do shit that you don't want to do. If you don't want to do anything in this podcast, you don't have to do it. Because I know that you are smart enough to make the best decisions for yourself. That doesn't mean that you're doing what I want you to do. That doesn't mean that you're doing what your mama wants you to do or whomever else. You're doing what is best for you. I trust you. So do we trust others to also do the same? We may not agree with what everyone chooses to do with their lives, largely because it doesn't look or feel familiar to us. We are creatures of habit, so we're in constant search of familiarity, of comfortability, and of connection. And I can tell you right now, dictating what others do with their lives, how they act, how they feel, how they think, isn't a form of connection. Actually, it pushes people away because they don't feel seen, heard, or loved. But it is a form of control. So why do we want to control people so bad? You will not agree with what everybody does. You don't even agree with some of the things that you've done. Those are called mistakes. We all make them. Even still, when we do not agree with what someone has going on, we can agree to disagree. That means I respect where you're coming from. I respect your position. I understand where you're coming from, but that's just not for me. And that's okay. We can also call people in. And I say call in. I don't necessarily like calling out because it sounds so combative and so confrontational, but we can call people in about their behaviors without tearing them down, without raising our voices, and without telling them what we think they should do, without them asking. So we don't offer up unsolicited opinions or advice, but we can ask those questions to dig deeper, not necessarily telling them the direction they should go, but asking the questions to have them think deeper about the decisions that they're making. So at the end of the day, A random person or stranger or someone that you may know is no different than me and ain't no different than you. We all want to feel loved, seen, and supported. Subconsciously, we treat others as an extension and reflection of ourselves. So it's no wonder why we can be so judgmental, so critical, so I need to fix them when that's how we feel about ourselves. The fixing is not something that they need to do, it's within us. We need to fix whatever we have going on so we don't pass that on to someone else. When we have a tough time accepting ourselves, our perceived flaws and all, there's no wonder that we treat others the same way. It's hard to have empathy for someone else and grace for someone else when we don't extend ourselves that same type of love, extend ourselves that same type of grace and space to make mistakes. We are a mirror. So what we do, we get back. We protect our right to choose by allowing others to exercise their right to choose, even when we don't like their choices. It can't be one-sided here, fam. This requires constant collaboration and collective effort to give ourselves and others space to live life on our own terms. So today's action is to commit to minding your own damn business. As tempting as it may be to read an article about someone, to leave that unsolicited comment, or to engage in that conversation about someone other than yourself, don't. Make a conscious, mindful, and intentional decision to refrain from the bullshit. This means more of withholding judgment and criticisms, accepting people for who they are and not who we want them to be, not seeing others as improvement projects. They are not broken. We do not need to fix them. Minding your own business looks like taking responsibility for you. It's understanding that your choices are your own and that no one can make you do anything that you don't want to do. You do not have to go into work today. You do not have to look at their social media posts or engage in their content. You do not have to comment on someone else's body shape or their size. You don't have to worry about how other people spend their money. These are all choices to make, and you have the right to choose how you will spend the moments of your day and what you will engage in. You also have the right to deal with the consequences of whatever you choose. So you not wanting to deal with certain consequences is justification enough for you doing what you do. No need to over-explain yourself or justify why. Your choices are your choices. Over the course of the week, continue monitoring your ability to mind your own business. You can do this, okay? You can do this. This is something that you can totally do. Question yourself when you feel yourself getting judgy. Ask yourself, why do I feel the need to comment on or want to fix this? Do I know why they are doing what they are doing? Does that change things? Does that change my opinion? Why do I feel like I need an opinion on this? Did I ask them if they needed my help? Did they ask for my help? Do I truly care enough to ask them what's happening with them? Like, do I care or am I being nosy? What are my intentions behind what I'm doing? Is this my business? That's the ultimate question. Is this my business? And what do you do when the answer is no? You mind yours. Minding your business is not necessarily easy because we're so used to an invasive type of lifestyle, and it's just innate almost because of how we were brought up. We find ourselves so concerned with what others have going on. But I can tell you, the more and more you practice minding your business, the more automatic it will become in your life, and the more freedom you will have in your life. It's so much peaceful on the other side of other people's drama. It really is. I'm coming back with my final thoughts, but I have to drop this first. Show notes for this episode can be found on adailydoseofdope.com. That is adailydoseofdope.com. Join us on adailydoseofdope.com. Become a member. So I'm sending out daily text messages. I'm sending out emails that encourage you and energize you and inspire you to continue living life on your own terms. Like, who doesn't want to be a part of something like that? So become a member, join the community. I would love to have you there. Again, that is adailydoseofdope.com. All right, so my final thoughts are to hold yourself accountable for your actions. When something is not your business, leave it be. Treat it like a nature walk. When you walk through nature, you observe your environment without interrupting its natural flow. So you'll hear the river flowing, you'll see the butterflies flying, you'll stop, maybe smell some flowers, you may see some bugs flying around, you'll see how the squirrels climb up the trees. You ain't really bothering nothing and nothing's really bothering you. You just are flowing through life, right? And when something in that environment happens that you don't particularly like, let's say it starts raining really bad. That's something you can't control, just like you can't control other people. So you can't control the rain, right? But you can control how you react to it. So if that means removing yourself from the situation and finding a place that's more peaceful to explore, do that. Because you can't stop it, right? You can't stop it. But you can figure out what you want to do with it, all right? So when you find yourself wanting to mind other people's business, bring it back to a place of peace, bring it back to a place of freedom, because you're not giving other people the freedom to do what they do when you're tending to their business. That's you inserting yourself. Let people live and allow yourself to live without all that stress, without all that drama, without all of that. Find your inner peace and be mindful about how you expend your energy, because your energy is precious and what you give, you get. I want to thank you for taking the time to show up today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for learning. And most importantly, I want to thank you for being you. I'll see you in the next episode. For more dope messages, be sure to visit adailydoseofdope.com and become a member. Also, cop your dope merch at deardopechick.com and follow us on all of our social media at Dear Dope Chick, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Thank you so much for listening, and as always, be you, be dope. Love, P.